Hi, I'm Sharon McCulloch. I am the Managing Director of Strong Point Strategy. Strong Point is a business advisory and services company focused on helping other companies, leaders, and teams both build and transform their businesses. We have a leadership blog series called 25 Rules Needed to Lead. And today I'm here with Cassandra Tobey, and we are talking about Strong Point's rule number 18, which is be known for making and keeping promises. So on that note, I'm going to allow Cassandra to introduce herself.
Thank you, Sharon. It's such a pleasure to be here today with you. I'm with the Prosperity Center, and our blog is Pondering Prosperity. We are launching a entrepreneurial school in January of 2022. Our school is designed to help those that have just started or are about to start their own business, to help them make sure their business is a feasible business by helping them do their feasibility plan and also create a long-term business plan.
Okay, wonderful. So I'm Meredith. So we do a lot of the same work where we help people realize their dreams through their own business and their entrepreneurship. And this blog means a lot to me simply because I find that people believe often that old school, back in the day, my parents' generation was very accustomed to making promises. But over time, I find that many of my clients, Strong Point's clients, our leaders and teams are really adverse to making any kind of promise. They don't want to be held accountable. They feel that if they don't say the promise or make it out loud, that they're better off for it. So I'm just interested. I'm curious to why this rule resonates with you, and what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about making and keeping promises?
I think that one of the things that was coming to my mind with what you were just saying was the saying, under promise and over deliver. And I think that may be partially where things have gone a little awry, and that people don't make promises anymore because they don't want to be held accountable. That they instead under promise, and then they do that over deliver, so they'll impress their clients potentially. But if they don't quite make the mark, if they didn't quite make where they think they should have made, at least they came in where they told the client they would. So, and I think that that's kind of a sad way to operate. And I think that, I even got told that a couple of times in my growing up, in my maturing years, by a boss or two. Always under promise and over deliver. And I think that may be partially where we've gone a little awry.
Yeah. So now, do you have an example for us? Have you do something stand out in your mind of somebody who either made a promise or that didn't deliver at all, or someone really broke a promise? I mean, I'm just curious as to whether those kind of things.
I have a good one, and my old staff will. I won't say names of people or companies, but and I know the person that was involved. It was partially out of their control, and so I don't really hold them that responsible for what happened. But at one of my companies, the program that I ran was dissolved, and there were some inklings that might be the case, and the management came in and sat and talked to my whole team, and we did a whole SWOT analysis of our program, and we did all of these plannings and strategies on how we could grow the program, and we were told that if for any reason the program were cut, that they would find a place in the organization for every single one of us, that we were all valued employees, and that we would never be let go. And a month later, all but two of my staff, including myself, was let go. And that was extremely disappointing. As the manager, I think the tears that I shed were not for myself, but for the staff that I cared about. I was sad to see them go and let go. I know that they loved the job as much as I did, and that was really hard. And I know a lot of them felt that a promise had been broken. And I know that the manager that made that promise felt equally bad because it was out of her control because the person above her made her do it.
Right, right. Now you bring up a good point, because I find through Strong Point, through a lot of our work, what we try to advise is keep your promises to things within your control. So as an example, I won't say I will definitely have this strategic plan or this change plan to you on Friday. What I can say is that I will promise that if we can't deliver on Friday because some of the content or some of the pieces are outside of our control, that we will tell you exactly. We will touch base on Friday. We will do absolutely everything in our control to finish the strategic plan. But if there's 2 or 3 pieces outside of our control, we'll tell you what they are and ask for your assistance to finish them, so that you can trust my integrity, number one, and my dependability is that I'll get back to you regardless of the outcome. If we're not complete, then I can promise you that you'll know where we are and what we need to do to finish. So, I mean, have you found, or do you feel that people are willing to make even those kind of promises? Or, you know?
I think that those kind of promises are definitely smart. I commend you for doing it that way. And that is definitely the way that I would coach my clients to handle things, because you don't always have control. And being able to be honest, I think, I remember when I was in Toastmasters, one of the things I learned, I think the strongest thing I always say I learned was being able to say, I don't have the answer to that. Can I get back to you later? And it falls kind of in the same vein as being able to say, this is not something that I can guarantee that I can do, because I don't have control of every piece of it, but I will do the best that I can, and I will at least communicate with you and keep you in the loop so you know where we are.
Yeah, that's wonderful. The other thing that when I wrote this blog, I was actually thinking about my very first coaching opportunity when I started my first company, which was an apparel company, and I worked through a small business development center out of the Wharton School of Business. And you know, I worked for months, 6, 7 months, you know, fleshing out my business plan, and thought that I had, you know, just was totally prepared. And when I got in and I said to the consultant, you know, I expect to do this, that, and the other. And he said to me, I promise you, everything you think you're going to do, you're going to break those promises. And are you willing to break the promise to your husband, to your mother, to your children? You know, he made me sit back in my chair and think, oh, you know, I'm going to break people's hearts by being in business. And the reality is my first business failed and lots of hearts were broken. So I think what I try to put in here is to honor that advice I got in the very beginning, is that just at least be conscious of the promises, whether they're spoken or not, that people are depending on you to fulfill. Right. And whether it's a team or even your clients, be mindful that people's expectations, even though they're not in an official promise, they take it as such. So, what promises are important to you? Like, what is one promise that you would make either to your clients, that's something to stand behind, in a memorable way, like I was impacted when I got advice that you're going to be giving?
I think that the promise that I could make to my clients is that my heart is really in what I do, that this is my passion, and that I can promise them I'm giving them the best advice I know. I'm not always perfect. I don't always have all the answers. If I don't have the answer, I will work with them to find the answer. But that in the end, I have their best interest at heart.
Okay, thanks, Cassandra. That's awesome. You've reminded us all how important it is to make and keep promises. And so just want to remind everyone listening to us that Strong Points Leadership Series, 25 Rules Needed to Lead, gives us a guide to, many of the core tenets of effective business. Making and keeping promises is one of them.